Okay, I'm back. So this next video that I'm going to play for you is going to be half of the show that I think Rick Wiles did yesterday. Um, yeah, August 15th, 2022. For those who may listen to this um, after the day, whatever. So this is the culmination. So Rick Wiles was the one that actually started to awaken my understanding about white Christians. You know, we've all been sanitized to just accept white Christians, do what they do. We got some churches that mix, and then you got, black churches and, so on and so forth. Asian churches and this, that, and the third. So I actually began to understand that there was something wrong. I mean, on a whole nother level. Because his whole thing with Muslims, I mean, I understood why he thought he would feel that way. But yeah, I mean, it was just off. And it was another thing that just threw me off of how he was just worshiping at the feet of Donald Trump. It was real scary. And the Lord, just really started to show me the truth about the danger, that we're um, in a Christian, or a society, a government that relies on theology, and it's not just the United States, that's having this problem. So anyway, I want you guys to listen to this thing with me with Rick Wiles. I'm gonna be stopping it. I'm gonna try not to do it as frequent. So if I'm doing it too frequently, please put it in the description and let me know. I'm going to go back and listen to it, myself and see, what I pick up. But yeah, that feedback, I would really appreciate. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This is True News, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help us God. I'm Rick Wiles. Our United States of America constitutional republic is in grave danger. A dangerous cabal that conspired to destabilize and remove Donald Trump from the presidency is at work this very hour. They lied about the president. They spied on the president. They planted fake evidence. They assembled a dossier of false accusations. They planted spies in his campaign. They had spies in the White House. And now they are talking about executing Donald Trump for treason. This nation cannot survive.
Okay, nobody's talking about executing Donald Trump for treason. Nobody. Okay? We don't even know the extent of what he's done to even think about treason or hanging him for treason or whatever. This is insane.
Longer if this evil cabal is not rooted out and imprisoned. Doc Burkhart and I will give you a brief synopsis of the war against the Trump movement and every American who has voted for Donald Trump. And we will also give you some latest intel on their war in Ukraine. So let's start with this most recent outrageous attack on President Donald Trump that Mr. Trump released today on social media.
Right.
Well, on
Truth Social.
The few outlets that allow him to speak.
The one that he owns.
The one that he owns. Let's put it up on the screen. You got to see this, folks. This is number one. The president's passports were seized.
So it says in this post on Truth Social, wow, in the raid by the FBI of Mar-a-Lago, They stole my 3 passports, 1 expired, along with everything else. This is an assault on a political opponent at a level never seen before in our country. Third world. And of course, that's directly from Donald Trump's account.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it here. He was complaining that people are not gonna like Trump supporters. I've already talked about that. People shouldn't like Trump supporters because they're crazy. There's something wrong with them, and they're finna get back all the stuff that they've been giving out to Democrats all these years, and the crying that I hear them doing right now. Rick Wiles did a whole series on Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, right? There was this woman who was raped by both of them as a young girl, like an adolescent. So he knows. He knows about Trump grabbing the women's X, Y, and Z. He knows about all of the stuff that Trump was about before Trump became president, to include having the DOJ having to sue him successfully because he was keeping black people out of being able to either rent or buy into his properties. So to hear them begin to defend, and then Rick Wiles, oh, I'm not a Republican. Oh, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. And I don't sit here and defend Joe Biden. I didn't defend Hillary Clinton. And I worked on her campaign back in 2008. So this is the difference. This is the difference that I want you guys, to hear. Very important. Because the Rick Wiles that I'm listening to today is even worse to me than the one back in 2016. Because we have Trump's presidency. We have his whole They mad at him about that vaccine. The whole vaccine mandate came about because Trump was willing to have that vaccine developed. And he took it. And so you're mad at all the other people who latched on to that vaccine. But you're not mad at the joker that actually created it or, funded it, in the first place. So I just find that, just to be really all the stuff that we know about Donald Trump. You put Donald Trump and you put Hillary Clinton together, I would have a hard time trying to figure out which one of them is the biggest crook. I really wouldn't be able to make a decision. I think both of them are flagrant crooks. So, anyway.
Passports, Rick. Now, some people might be asking why he had 3 passports. Sure. So would you like to explain to folks?
One was his normal, regular passport as a citizen,
right?
That he had before he became president. The one that's expired is an expired version of that passport. The third one is a diplomatic passport,
also known as the blue passport,
yes,
right?
Yes. I believe so, or that may be, I don't know which one's blue, the regular one or the diplomatic, but it's the diplomatic passport, and that's issued to heads of state, to ambassadors, diplomats, and so when they travel, they don't go through the same lines that all the other foreign travelers go. They're taken to
the diplomatic
line where they're given express service. And so anyhow, the FBI seized all 3 of Donald Trump's passports. Now, this effectively makes him a political prisoner, meaning he cannot leave the United States of America. This is not an accident, Doc.
Right, because he doesn't have a passport. In other words, they're assuming he's a flight risk.
Yes.
The President of the United States of America.
Yes.
This is where we've come to now?
Yes. That's where we're at. The next thing will be...
I believe that Donald Trump is a flight risk. I can easily see him trying to figure out how to get to a country that he can claim some kind of political asylum, in or whatever he would come up with. So the thing is, this country, especially with a place as big as Hollywood, it really lacks a lot of imagination.
An ankle bracelet on Donald Trump's leg. And I'm not exaggerating. This could happen at the speed that these people are moving. This could happen in the next week or two. It would mean that he's under house detention. They may confine him to Mar-a-Lago. All it's going to take is Doc, it would only take a corrupt Jeffrey Epstein judge to issue a house arrest order and say he is a flight risk. They could accuse him of fomenting rebellion in the country. If he says anything that gets people angry at the regime,
right,
they're going to accuse him of insurrection. That's everything. Everything that they've been doing since January 6th has been to lay the groundwork for an accusation of insurrection.
And they're already...
And I think he's wrong about that. I see obstruction because Trump has been obstructing ever since he was in the campaign. There were two women that he was messing with. One was an adult video personality, and the other one was from the Playboy Club. He paid them off and made them sign an NDA saying that they weren't going to say anything about their relationship so that it would negatively affect his opportunity, to win the campaign. That's obstruction, and that was a campaign finance violation. He silenced those two people, and he broke campaign finance laws to do it. Nobody cared. Nobody. The next bout of obstruction was when Mueller was investigating him for Russiagate. So when Mueller came out with the report, he said that he found that Trump was obstructing. He was blocking his ability to be able to find out and get testimony and get information. And he said that because DOJ has the policy that you can't indict a sitting president, then in order for him to be able to be held accountable for these crimes, this crime that he's committed of obstruction, Congress will have to impeach him. Then the DOJ can investigate, get the case together, and then turn around and indict it. Well, Mueller already had done the legwork, for us. I guess all they had to do was whatever other information, they could gather, maybe, and then indict him. Put him up on charges for obstructing a federal investigation. And so he did it again with the Ukraine thing, because he tried to get Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine. They said that he was trying to get dirt on Biden because of the shenanigans, the financial and corporate shenanigans that Biden's family, like his son and his brother, had going on. So Trump wanted to be able to use that against Biden in the upcoming, election. And he told Zelensky that he wasn't going to help Ukraine financially if he didn't do what he wanted him to do, giving him the information about, Joe Biden. And then you look at the obstruction that was going on January 6th, where he was trying to keep Mike Pence from completing the process of doing the final thing that they needed to do, with the electoral, votes. And I think for him, he would have been happy either way. He would have been happy if Mike Pence had agreed and, tried to stop it, the way that Trump wanted Pence to stop it. He would have been happy about that. And he would have been happy if, so Pence didn't do that. So the next step is to keep that joker, get him out of the Capitol, because they can't finish the thing that they needed to do with the electoral college until, with the votes. They were finishing certifying all the states. That's what happened. The electoral college had already voted in December. And so Congress, coming into the new session and leaving the old one, they were certifying the state-to-state, votes. So yeah, if he could have got Pence out of the Capitol, that would have worked for him too, because he would have stopped that process. And then I don't know what they would have done if they had to have gotten Pence out of the area and then kept him from, completing that. I don't know what their next step, would have been. But those are the two things. And that's why I think Trump waited so long before he did anything, because he wanted to see how far they were going to get. And then when it started to turn and they started to get, control over the situation, then that's when he decided to come out and tell them, to go home. He loves them. Just insane. Insane. And then they say, well, you can't compare. If you're mad about January 6th, then you should be mad about the BLM protests that were going on with George Floyd. And it infuriates me. Like I was talking earlier in the last video, about, Hillary Clinton and her, mess that she had going on with, government information. And then you got January 6th, and then they're trying to compare that, to BLM, where we had to look at a man be murdered for nothing, for absolutely nothing. That man is dead for nothing, because a cop had an ego problem, and he was stupid, and he did not think that he was going to be held accountable, so he just stood there while the man was begging for his life, and they don't see nothing wrong with that. Well, this is why black people don't feel safe in this country. And there's valid reason. And so when I hear, white people like Rick Wiles cry, bitch, and moan and complain about the white man and what the all the struggles and they're beset on each side with all of the angst and problems that they have to carry, on their backs, they're heavy laden. And they're heavy laden because of the way that they think. They keep voting for people who are never going to do anything for them. Donald Trump isn't their friend. He's not their champion. It would be, I don't even know what I would be like if Trump did not go to jail, number one. And he ended up being president of the United States again. I don't know. I just don't.
Talking heads out there that are expressing that, saying that the words he spoke on January 6th inspired the people to go into the Capitol. The words themselves did that.
Yes.
And so, therefore, they have to shut those words off, right?
So they want a conviction on the grounds of insurrection. Because the plan is to use the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, post-Civil War, that prohibited members of the Southern Confederacy from running for federal office. If you were in the Confederate Army, you could not run for office. You were banned for life. And that's in the 14th Amendment. And so what the Democrats have been doing since last January is laying the groundwork to get a conviction against Donald Trump for insurrection. That would prohibit him from running for any office after that. So that's where they're going with this, Doc.
Well, wouldn't they have to do that between now and the November election? I mean, they'd have to move pretty fast at this point, wouldn't it?
No, he's not running for anything in 22. They want to prevent him from running for president in 24.
Right.
But if they lock him down in Mar-a-Lago, he can't go out and campaign for Republicans.
Oh, no, that's a good point. Yes.
So I would not have said this a week ago, but today, as far out and as strange as it sounds, I'm not ruling out that in the next 1 to 2 weeks, a corrupt federal judge connected to Jeffrey Epstein, a deep state judge, will issue a detention order. And they will put an ankle bracelet on Donald Trump, and he will not be able to leave Mar-a-Lago. And at some point...
That's insane. That is just, there's no evidence. Absolutely no evidence for him to be saying stuff like that. So this is how you get caught up in that kind of loop. You know, you're so wrapped up into craziness that you can't even take a step back just to make sure that you line up, you line up where you are. So in a map reading class, like in the military, when you're looking at your location so that you can determine, where you are versus, the direction that you are trying to go to get to your location, you have to stop every so often and check to make sure that you're still walking in the right coordinates. You have to take the compass and the map, you got to line them up, and you have to make sure, looking around at your landmarks, that you're moving in the right direction. So they are so wrapped up into this victim. They call Democrats snowflakes, and they say that they're victims. That's Rick Wiles. All this whining and crying and complaining that they're doing for a crook like Donald Trump is ridiculous. I mean, how many people died at the Capitol? There was a person, I think, that got trampled. There was a person that had a heart attack. And I know that there was that woman that died because she was trying to break into, I guess, a part of the Capitol. I don't know if it was trying to get to Senate chambers or where. But it was an area that they had blocked off and said that you can't come in here. And she tried to go in there anyway, and she got shot. And shot in the neck, and she bled out. So that's at least 3 Trump supporters that I know of that were killed in some fashion at the Capitol that day. And then you got this dude that got shot in Cincinnati, the other day, and they killed him. So now I know we're at least up to 4 people that have died messing around with the stuff that has come out of Donald Trump's mouth. And I can't believe that Rick Wiles and them are still no proof. He even said it. He said Mike Lindell did not give any proof about why the last election, the 2020 election, was stolen from Donald Trump. There's no proof. They didn't win one court case. And Rick Wiles and them still believe, without proof, that the election was rigged. That is scary, my friend. And they are getting ready to elect people into the government that are just as corrupt as Trump, thinking that they're sending in patriots. It's like when they were behind George W. Bush, and the rest of us could see how stupid, he was. And it took him dragging us into a war and 8 years of insanity. And by the time George W. Bush left, they couldn't even stand him no more. So it's like you have to be dragged through all of this muck and mire before they can turn around and say, why are we dragging around this muck and mire? This doesn't make any sense. Let us put this down and go and move in another direction. I hate it here.
Away his right to post anything on his own social media platform.
I could see that happening at this point. So
it's dangerous, Doc. This is dangerous. And what we've said for years is Donald Trump is not the main target. It's the people that support him,
right.
The voters. They want to get rid of them. They want to get rid of the people that voted for Donald Trump. They're standing in the way of a complete communist takeover of this country. So, over the weekend, I guess this happened on Friday, I was in Massachusetts over the weekend for a wedding. And but I did see some of these stories, and it was just shocking what was being reported. So the ex-CIA director, Michael Hayden, who is deeply implicated in the fake Putin hacked the election scandal. I mean, Hayden is involved in that.
Right.
But he was running the CIA. So he retweeted a comment that implied Donald Trump could be executed for treason.
That's right. So this is a National Review, and several other outlets are also reporting on this too. Sounds about right. Ex-CIA chief Michael Hayden implies Trump should be executed for taking classified docs. Now, of course, the accusation is that Donald Trump took classified documents, not just documents generally, but specifically nuclear secrets.
Yes.
That's the direct implication there. Which I think is the most outrageous accusation I've ever heard against Donald Trump to this point.
So are they going to accuse him of selling nuclear secrets to Russia?
They've accused him of everything else up.
Okay, so when I was coming up and Bill Clinton was in office, one of the things that Republicans...
Russia's lap boy, they've told him everything.
One of the things that Republicans used to do is talk about Bill Clinton and the Lincoln bedroom and how they would let Chinese people or people that were willing to pay to come and sleep in the Lincoln bedroom. They said that Hillary and Bill Clinton was making money off the White House that way. And it was a huge, huge thing at the time on the Republican side. So it's really, 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 really fascinating that they can't even imagine a world where Donald Trump would want to take information and sell it to whoever is the highest bidder for his own personal gain. They can clearly see that somebody like Bill and Hillary Clinton would be scummy enough to do that, but they can't even fathom that Donald Trump would be capable of doing something similarly. It's just, I have no words.
That why not accuse him of selling nuclear secrets to Russia? But that's exactly where they're pointing things.
Yes.
Michael Benchless of MSNBC, a commenter on there, had a tweet about the Rosenbergs. For the younger viewers here who don't know who the Rosenbergs are, they were on trial for selling secrets to the Soviets.
So it was the Manhattan Project.
Right.
They sold the atomic bomb secrets.
So General Hayden actually retweeted Michael Benchless's tweet, and so this is number 3 for control, if we can pull that up. So Michael Benchless is the one that originally posted this. Rosenbergs were convicted for giving U.S. nuclear secrets to Moscow and were executed June 1953. General Michael Hayden retweets that and says, sounds about right, making the direct connection toward President Donald Trump. So that's where they're taking this now.
Yes. So the outrageous accusation came out, I think, on Thursday night, I think so.
Yes.
About the nuclear secrets.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the video at this point, and then I come back and finish it up. So I'll be right back.